So, how are you doing so far?
I'm doing very fine. I sent you my presentation, by the way.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm going to start by that today. Follow it. So, can you remember what we have already started with since last time about advocacy? Can you?
I don't remember what we took last week.
Alright, we have already spoken about how to set off an advocacy campaign off the ground. We've spoken about the rightness of your cause. We have spoken about those of your allies, the people who support you, and also to whom your advocacy is being directed, whether it's governmental institution or any other institution or company that is doing something harmful to the environment. And you need to stand along with your friends or your allies in order to stop them from harming your community or your country. Can you remember that?
I think I was absent last session.
Oh, that's very bad. Okay, quick revision. We have spoken about the meaning of advocacy, that's for one. We have also spoken about that it doesn't always have to involve confrontation. Confrontation means to conflict or to have a conflict with anyone, like a really bad conflict. And you must choose your advocacy, meaning that you choose the situation you are speaking about. And later we have also spoken about the best components for advocacy. Today we will speak about the skills for advocacy. Okay, but I need to remind you that if you are joining a group, okay, that helps to build houses for the poor, or you are spending your holidays helping the poor and the recycling center, that is not called advocacy. That is called a service, a public, directly service. Okay, it's a direct service, like helping you people, giving them money, giving them food. That's a service. Advocacy comes when you stand against some institution that is making some harmful thing for the environment. And of course, we have spoken about that. You can check the review on Classera anytime. So, for no further delay, today we will speak about the survival skills for advocates. What are the survival skills for advocates while making their advocacy campaign? So, those two lessons are too connected, okay? All of it is a course. So now you have already determined the rightness of your cause. You have determined which institution is making harmful decisions or harmful thing for the environment, and you have set up your cause. And now we need to ask those questions. What do you mean by survival skills? And why do you need to use them while making an advocacy campaign? And also, how do we use survival skills in advocacy efforts? So, in this section, we are going to discuss the survival skills for the successful advocate. This list has been compiled from experience of many advocates, yet it's by no means complete. Not all of these skills may be relevant for your own particular situation. However, we feel a review of them may help you to provide a solid base for your advocacy campaign. Meaning that those are some of the skills that can help you while conducting an advocacy campaign. And for no doubt, the skills needed for each campaign vary from one situation to the other. So, to answer question number one, Yusuf, can you read please?
Yes. What do you mean by survival skills for advocacy? Advocacy survival skills are a set of general guidelines of pleading your cause and for staying in the game long enough to be successful. They have been used effectively by other advocacy campaigns, and you and your group may want to review and adapt them as you develop your strategy and tactics for community change.
Alright, so simply we're speaking about how those advocacy survival skills have been already used by generation after generation as some sort of a guideline which can guide them while conducting their advocacy. Of course, in the last session, we have spoken about making a major plan for your advocacy campaign and to plan for whatever is going on. First, you have determined the problem, and then you set some planning for the problem, and later start to conduct those plans. And of course, while doing so, and all of this is included into the campaign, you need to know that you need some skills to keep you on the track, to keep you performing those plans that you have already made. So why do we need the survival skills? Simply, success depends on much more than just dedicated people working for a cause. Common cause in our situation here is the problem, or whether a company is trying to open a new branch inside the major city, and this branch will just pollute the environment, and we need to stop them. Put this example in your mind, okay, because we're gonna need it a lot. Imagine that a factory is being constructed here in the middle of Riyadh, and of course this factory will pollute the environment, and we need to make a campaign in order to stop them from continuing or completing constructing that factory. So we have already set our problem first, that this factory is very bad for our community and environment, and we have supposedly made our own plans to how to stop it, and right now we are conducting those plans. While conducting those plans, we need some skills that can help us to keep us on the right track. So this toolbox section will speak or will talk about the golden rules for advocacy. What are those golden rules for advocacy? We shall discuss them right away, one by one. But let's answer the last question. How do you see survival skills in advocacy efforts? So while making an advocacy, while trying to stop that factory from being constructed, we need those skills to help us. So how can they help us? To how many percentage they can help us? Of course, none of the survival guidelines are set in stone, meaning that they are flexible. You can vary them, you can change them according to your own community, to your own perspective, to your own campaign, to the rightness of your cause, to many reasons. You can flex them. Okay, they should be used to fit your situation and resources. They have benefited many previous advocacy groups, yet are not necessarily a recipe for instant success. The important thing is to study those guidelines and try to use what you find useful. Then get it to work. Meaning that you have a million of things that can affect your campaign. Okay, and those sets we are speaking about today, those skills we will speak about today, are not necessarily to be conducted just by you and by all the people around the world and give the same results. Okay, because you have some factors that can affect your campaign, like for example the cultural perspective of your country. Okay, so I can make a campaign in order to ask for women rights in America, for example. Okay, one of the campaigns that were made, so strange actually, for liberating the women they title it, yeah, very strange title actually. I'm not gonna speak about this. It's very strange, but yet it's not allowed here in our community. Okay, so let's speak about those survival skills. Anyone is eager to read?
Yeah, I can read.
Okay,
What are survival skills for advocates? They are guidelines used successfully by other advocacy efforts.
so the survival skills we are speaking about are considered to be a guideline, and this guideline will be used by the advocacy efforts in order to conduct your plans. Why have survival skills for advocacy? Number one,
To be effective in promoting your cause.
so we have first the most important thing while making a campaign is the rightness of your cause. Why are you making that campaign? Okay, what are the harmful situation that can affect your community that permits you from making the advocacy campaign or allows you to make an advocacy campaign? So first you have to determine your cause, and those skills will be effective in promoting your cause. So the advocacy skills or the survival skills for advocacy. Number one, accentuate the positive, meaning that while making your advocacy campaign, of course you can counter some problems. Something may happen which will affect your campaign very badly. Okay, like for example, the example that we have given for the factory, they have already taken all of the procedures and finished the paper for constructing the factory, and later they have asked the police to help them while constructing and save the workers while working. So they have everything, all the papers are with them. Okay, yet we must still see the positive in this. We must speak about how this factory, after being constructed, will affect our environment very badly. Consequently, we need to gather as moralized as we can so that they can stop constructing that factory. So even though we are in a very bad situation, yet we must see the good one. And number two, we'll speak about how to emphasize your organization's accomplishments to the community. What does this mean? So, for example, if I have an organization that helps to stop everything bad for the community, like the wild hunting, for example, illegal hunting, so or stopping that factory or making anything for the environment. So I have to publish those accomplishments, and I have to tell the public opinion that my cause is a rightness one. So I'm working for you. I'm trying to save our community and our environment. Consequently, you will have the public opinion along with your cause or by your side, and by that you can just affect the situation to you to be something for plan for small wins. So we have spoken about how to put a very major plan for whole of the advocacy campaign, but when you have very small wins, okay, they can help you in a big cause. So because one win after another, even if it was very, very small, it can help you later in your whole plan. Also, we need to present the issue as you want others to see them. And here we must put some lines actually. Okay, something that is hard or harmful from my point of view is not necessarily harmful from your point of view. So, while speaking about a plan, while speaking about an advocacy, while speaking about making a campaign, we need other people to see the problem through our eyes. Because by seeing the problem through our eyes, this will enable us to show them or to make them see what problem we are speaking about, and consequently, they will come to a common understanding between you and that problem. Okay, like for example, I can see that waking up 6 in the morning is very bad. For you, Yusuf, for example, you say no, it's very good. So I'll come and explain to you why waking up 6 a.m. is very bad for me. Okay, simply I'll tell you that I sleep at 3 or 4 a.m. So it's impossible for me to wake up 6 a.m. Okay, so at the beginning, when I told you that waking 6 a.m., 6 in the morning is bad, no, can't write here. I can't write here. Okay, so if I told you that waking up 6 a.m. is very bad, you will not understand me. Why it's very bad. I can wake up 6 a.m. and it's very good. But when I tell you that I sleep 4 a.m., then you will come to understand that it's approximately impossible for me to wake up at 6 a.m. Right? So after seeing the problem from my eyes, from my own perspective, you come to understand the problem. And later we need to develop our own public identity. We need people to know us. We're speaking about the campaign, and this campaign means you are trying to stop a governmental institution or any private business or private institution from doing something hard for the community, not only for one person. So we need to grab the public identity and try to just show it to the people so that we can connect people together in the same cause so that they can see the problem and later they can stand by us. Also, to check your facts. What is the meaning of checking my facts? To check your facts means that you need to always be on the right track. Like right now, if this factory is really harmful, so check the facts. Try to prove that this factory is harmful and then use the information into your campaign. Keep it simple. The factory is harmful, just like that. Be passionate and persistent. Of course, passionate because you are speaking about something that is gonna be very harmful for your community. And persistent means never to give up, never to stop. Even though you might fall, then stand up again and continue in your campaign. Be prepared to compromise, meaning that once you start your campaign, you need to know that you are fighting for the whole of community. So start once, twice, thrice, and be prepared for doing anything in the cause of your rightness campaign. And most importantly, try to be some sort of opportunistic and also creative. So once you see an opportunity, do not hesitate to take it. Really, while making a campaign, do not hesitate to take any opportunity that can help you while conducting the campaign. Like one of the opportunities while speaking about that factory is that to prove that this factory will produces carbon dioxide with an amount that is not allowed in factories. So take that as soon as possible and just try to get it to government and try to make a complaint about it. So just to try to use any opportunity that might occur to you in order to serve your campaign. And if you can't find an opportunity, create one. You're not a stone. And again, stay on your course because you are fighting a rightness cause. Look for the good in others, keep your eyes on the prize, and also make issues local and relevant, and get crude-based support from the start, and work within the experience of your own group member. To speak about also these skills that we can use, we need to see the good in others, meaning that I need to see the good in each one and try to urge that good in him in order to stand by my own cause. And we must always see the prize in our cause, because simply we are speaking about something harmful for our environment, and we are going to stop that harmful thing from damaging our community and also environment. Consequently, always look at the price at the final of your campaign and make issues local and relevant. So if the factory is making any problem that is local to your community, make it relevant to other communities. So if the factory is going to be opened in Riyadh, so make it relevant. What if the factory, what, for example, you can say that we can stop it from being constructed here. But what if they went to Jeddah? What if they went to Dammam? So you'll bring the help also from people in other communities to support your cause. And get pro-based support. We have already spoken about the allies, and that it's a very important factor while making a campaign to get as much allies as possible. Even short-term allies also is allowed while conducting a campaign. Short-term allies means someone who just will support you until one of your causes is going to be achieved. So not the whole plan, one part of the plan. It's totally okay. And always you must check the experience of your group and try to work within the limits of your team's experience. So none of you, for example, in your group understands anything about physics, for example. So do not speak about physics while promoting for your campaign because it's out of your experience. Last thing, we have tried to work outside the experience of your opponent. Make your opponents play by their own rules. Tie your advocacy group's efforts to relate events, and later enjoy yourself. So one reason is that we must try to work outside of the experience of our opponents, because if they do not understand something, they will not be able to defend themselves while we advocate for it. And we must make them play by their own rules. Why their own rules? Why not our rules? Because if they played by our own rules and they made something wrong, then we did the same because it's our own rules. But while playing with their own rules and conducting something that is very bad, consequently, it's their problem. And try to tie your advocacy group's efforts to related events, like, for example, Riyadh season. Okay, we are advocating for a factory that's being harmful for the environment, and we need to stop it. And there is Riyadh season, so let's go to Riyadh season and try to show the people in Riyadh season the efforts of our own campaign, and then get the help from them. And last but not least, always enjoy yourself. Why? Because after all, you're doing something good, right? While speaking about advocacy, you're speaking about how this thing will help your environment and your own community. Consequently, enjoy yourself, man. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay, how I really hope that you got the whole idea.
While grassroots campaigns need to be strategic, they definitely don't need to reinvent the wheel. There's a proven path for success already being used to transform public will into political power across the nation, and it's explained in the book, The DeMarco Factor. It's a multi-year process, but we can summarize the main points in under 2 minutes. Step 1. Create an evidence-based policy plan. This is where you work with local experts and grassroots organizations to develop a watertight, proven policy solution. Don't skip this step. This research sets you up for success throughout your campaign. Next, test the plan with a high-quality poll. If you're going to get groups and politicians to sign on to something, you'd better make sure it moves voters first. And don't skimp on polling. Reliable results from a respected firm give you the credibility you need. Now you're ready to build a coalition. Create a resolution for groups to endorse, and work hard to get lots of important organizations signed on. Got your coalition? It's time to bring on the media. The more media, the better, because media coverage builds public support for your cause and motivates your supporters. The fifth step is to make your policy into an election issue. This is when you leverage your coalition's strength to make candidates for office endorse your resolution. Then, let the voters know which candidates have endorsed it and which have not. And lastly, go win in the legislature. Because your powerful coalition got the candidates for office to endorse your cause, you begin the next legislative session with the support of a strong number of legislators committed to get the job done. You've built a powerful grassroots movement and are in a prime position for your policy solution to pass. Ready to learn more? Visit healthcareforall.com/6steps.
In the year 2000, the leaders of the world promised to get all children into school by 2015. But today, 58 million children are still missing out on the opportunity to attend even one day at primary school.
That's terrible.
I know.
It's not fair.
It's more than the population of South Africa out of school.
The people in charge should be doing a better job.
Exactly.
Without universal education, nations will have more poverty, worse health, and more war.
My little brother, he's meant to be starting his education next year, but his school is just closed down.
Oh, right.
The building was badly damaged in an attack, and nobody can say when it is going to reopen. Meanwhile, my brother and hundreds of other children have nowhere to learn.
What are you going to do?
I can't just sit and watch it happen.
No.
No way. You know what? I'm going to protest.
Yeah.
And campaign until they open the school again.
Brilliant.
Not just for my brother, but for all the 28 million children who are out of school because of conflict around the world.
Leonie?
Yes?
I want to help.
You? Well, we'll need to be organized, Johnny.
I can do that.
We'll need to get people inspired.
Not a problem.
We'll need to learn how to make change happen through the power of advocacy.
The power of advocacy.
All around the world, young people have got together to demand that world leaders deliver on their promise of universal education. And we're being heard.
Cool.
But more help is needed.
Count me in.
An organization called Plan worked with loads of young people and some amazing organizations like UNICEF, UNESCO, and A World at School to develop an advocacy toolkit. This toolkit provides everything you need, whatever your campaign, to join the millions of young leaders around the world to advocate for change. As Malala Yousafzai said, it's time to speak up.
I'm going to be like Mahatma Gandhi challenging injustice, or Nelson Mandela inspiring change.
If you say so, Johnny.
Right, so what do we do first?
We can follow the steps in the toolkit. We need to make a plan and then talk to the people in power.
We should research the issues so we can properly argue our points.
And find some more people who also want to campaign.
We could arrange a meeting with someone in government.
We better prepare
I'm ready for anything.
and be clear about what we want
They'll have to listen to us.
and prove to them how important this school is.
Exactly.
The Advocacy Toolkit will help us get started.
A friend of mine in the Philippines, called Rolando, he campaigned for schools in his country to integrate people with special needs into mainstream education. He went around the country and held student-teacher workshops to explain the importance of such a policy.
That's amazing.
After 3 months of campaigning, schools started to change.
So if Rolando can make a difference, so can we.
Right.
There's a tool in the Advocacy Toolkit that can help us prepare for a lobbying meeting.
But lobbying isn't the only thing we can do, right?
No, we should create a campaign to get ourselves noticed.
So that people know what's going on.
And those in power can't ignore us.
We could organise a rally.
We can join other young people to launch a global rise up for school petition. We can get millions to support it by asking our friends to sign on and share it online.
We could hold a public meeting.
Or a sitting.
Or a strike.
In the toolkit, there's a story about an orphan in Burundi called Salatia. He lost his parents in the civil war and couldn't afford his school fees, so he got suspended from class. He was so angry, but he formed an association of orphans and spread the word around the country about what was happening. He got on the radio and everything, and he forced the government to change.
Do you think we could get on the radio?
Why not?
And the television?
Sure.
We could be stars.
And we could keep the school open, Johnny. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, of course. Do you think we can get some journalists to our events?
If we get enough people behind us, they'll come.
I'm excited.
Me too.
It's going to be brilliant.
There'll be ups and downs, Johnny.
I know.
We'll have to stay motivated.
Your brother has to go to school.
But we really can make the difference.
Not just for your brother, but for all the children and young people being denied the right to education right now.
Imagine a world where every child receives a good quality education.
Where young people can make a better world.
Where everyone has an opportunity.
And everyone has a future.
We need concrete steps to address this global education crisis.
So we'll put every child in school.
So that their ambitions can flourish and their potential be fulfilled.
I know we can make a difference.
We, the young people of the world, call on all governments to deliver education for all, right now. Visit the plan website for more information on creating your own advocacy campaigns and to download the used Advocacy Toolkit in full.
So of course the video you have seen now was about one of the advocacy campaigns that shall be done. For example, the world must have the advocacy those advocacy campaigns in order to help the students to obtain studying and obtain the proper education since young age. And if you can, see in the video here, she has spoken about first the problem, which is school. So she has right now the brightness of the cause, which is reopening schools for all. One. Number two, protest. Protest here means to start your campaign. And of course, you are protesting right now against a governmental institution. So you are still on the right track. Number two, after that, she spoke about how the rightness of her cause and how many allies she shall collect. That's one of the most important thing. And later she spoken about how to protest against some governmental people, the president of the countries or the government itself. So you are still on advocacy, not a public service. Then she spoke about how to use organization like UNICAF or UNESCO or even a World at School and use those people to help them support. So still gathering allies. And after that, you need to make a change. Okay, so make a change in the people, and later we speak about Nelson Mandela and following the path of the most important advocates over the course of history. And listen to others, try to make a toolkit. This toolkit, of course, contains some of the most important skills needing while campaigning for your advocacy. And starting collecting people, and let's open the school. Again, the rightness of your cause, stay on track. There is going to be some ups and downs, and while making the ups and downs, you will also achieve some of your goals. Some of them will not be achieved yet. You must stay on track and gather as much media as possible because media will always support you if you have a righteous cause. So, if your cause is a righteous one, they will help you and just make a difference because this difference you are making will be affected by many factors and later it will affect all of the kids in the world, not just in South Africa or in Saudi Arabia or somewhere else. So advocacy after all, we must know that we are standing for a righteous cause, so we must enjoy ourselves. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so any questions so far about the main skills for advocacy? Okay, yeah. Any questions so far?
No, I don't have any questions.
All right. So if you don't have any question, you may join your next session and see you at the 7th period.
Okay, thank you very much.
You are very welcome as usual.